Hi, micro folks. I hope this won't make you seasick. We're going to try to get a movie of the concept map we made on Thursday, October 17th for lab, chapter 21, unit 21, Parasitic Elements and Arthropod Vectors. So I hope this will work without making you too seasick. Okay. So, backing up here, trying to get the big overview. So the parasitic helminths and arthropod vectors, they belong to domain Eukarya, kingdom Animalia. And we'll first talk about the parasitic helminths or worms. There are three classes: the cestodes, also known as tapeworms, the trematodes, known as flukes. We will not be looking at any flukes. We won't look at any trematodes. And then the third group are the nematodes, the roundworms. So first, folks, we'll take a look at the cestodes, the tapeworms. Our only example is Taenia solium, the pork tapeworm. Transmission is fecal-oral by swallowing eggs or through eating undercooked pork when we eat the cysticercus. The slides we looked at in the micro A box, the egg and a fecal smear, slide 25. There's also a demo. The resting larval stage of cysticercus found in tissue, slides 26. And then the adults with the scolix, with the hooks and suckers and proglottids that are going to form the eggs, slides 27. Right. Then we're going to move to the nematodes. And the first nematode is Ascaris, the human roundworm. Transmission is fecal orally through ingestion of the egg. Whoa, probably going a little bit. So the slides we've looked at, a fecal smear, looking at the Ascaris egg, slide 31. And then we have adults on bench 4 as a demo. Transmission again is fecal orally. With heavy infections, we can actually have blockage of the intestine. The next nematode is Wuchereria bancrofti. This is a mosquito-borne, mosquito-vectored parasitic disease. It causes lymphatic filariasis. The infectious form for the mosquito and also a diagnostic form are the little immature larvae, the microfilaria, and a blood smear. And that we're looking on slide 38. The adults, when we get inoculated by mosquitoes, the adults mature in the lymphatic vessels, blocking the return of lymph fluid to the bloodstream, and so we can get immense swelling of our limbs. A common name for lymphatic filariasis is elephantiasis. As a bonus, we'll do the bonus questions at the very end, sorry. Okay, the next trematode is Trichinella Spiralis. We get infected by eating the resting larva, either an undercooked pork, bear, or walrus meat. And we are looking at a thin section through a muscle that's been stained, and we're seeing the spiral-shaped larva. Now, with regard to bonus questions, and I'll post these on Canvas, a bonus nematode is a really common helminth infection of children, Anaeropeus formicularis, the pinworm. We can use Scotch tape to gather the eggs from around the anus and then place the Scotch tape on a microscope slide to look for eggs. And again, we'll post some photomicrographs on Canvas. Oops, I've lost my screen. Okay, I've lost the screen, so I'm not sure if you're able to see this or not. And then another bonus question is the dog heartworm. This is a filarial worm. It's transmitted by mosquitoes. The adults live in the heart of dogs, causing congestive heart failure. Usually pet owners will have their dogs on heartworm preventive medication. And then again, another bonus one, folks, we're going to go back to cestodes. At the demo bench, we have the cat and dog tapeworm, Diploidium caninum. We were just saying that we want to remember that in treating dog or cat tapeworm, you also need to treat for fleas. Fleas are the intermediate host. This is how our dogs and cats are getting infected. Okay, we'll stop here. The screen has gone blank, so let me stop the movie here, and then we'll do arthropod vectors on another. Oh, Okay, we'll just continue. Sorry, folks, we'll just continue. Okay, so now we're going to go over to our arthropod vectors. And arthropods belong to kingdom Animalia. They have a hard exoskeleton and jointed legs. There's two groups that we're going to look at that can act as vectors. The arachnids. Arachnids have 8 legs as adults, and the second big group are the insects. Insects have 6 legs as adults. The only arachnid we're going to look at is an example of a tick, and specifically the Ixodes pacificus, the western black-legged tick here in Northern California, is the vector of the bacterial pathogen called Borrelia burgdorferi. Borrelia burgdorferi is a bacterial spirochete. It can be treated with antibiotics. The disease it causes is called Lyme disease. And we have examples of Ixodes pacificus collected by our fantastic Professor Dave Wyatt on bench 4. In the micro A box, there's a slide of a different type of tick called dermacenter tick, slides 39 and 58. For the Carberry lab exam, I'll only ask you about Ixodes pacificus. Then we're going to go over to insects, and we have several insect vectors. With the mosquitoes, folks, the Anopheles mosquito, slide 40, remember, is a vector of the protozoal pathogen, Plasmodium, which causes malaria. The Aedes mosquitoes, slides 56, are great vectors of viruses, yellow fever virus, Zika virus, dengue, chikungunya viruses, and we now have breeding colonies of Aedes in Northern California. In Northern California, another important mosquito genus is the Culex mosquitoes, and these are the vectors of the West Nile virus. So fleas, slide 49, mistake here. Fleas, slide 43, here in California are the vectors of the bacterial pathogen Yersinia pestis, which causes bubonic plague. Also, fleas are the vectors of another bacterial disease caused by the bacterium rickettsia, flea-borne or endemic typhus. They're having outbreaks of flea-borne typhus in Southern California. That would be a bonus question. And then again, folks, the screen's gone blank, so I hope we can see this. The next two vectors are ones we're familiar with. Glossina, slide 49, vector of the protozoal parasite Trypanosoma brucei, causing African trypanosomiasis. And the last one is Triatoma, bench 4, vector of Trypanosoma crucei, causing American trypanosomiasis.